It's just me, Uso. Yes, day one-ish, Jey Uso, the winner of the 2025 Royal Rumble, the most star-studded Royal Rumble, and I'm going to explain why after the intro.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just going to keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Break It Down with Brian H. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, is brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. Folks, we just came off one of the most star-studded Royal Rumbles in history. I mean, when you look at the participants, right? You got arguably the greatest of all time, Roman Reigns. Arguably the greatest of all time, John Cena. You got one of the greatest wrestlers in Seth Rollins. You had the guy, the cult of personality himself, CM Punk. A guy who was an indie darling that people love and never thought would be in WWE, being Jacob Fatu. You had one of the most over people on the internet, not on the roster, in Joe Hendry. Then you got the NXT superstar who's now the Intercontinental Champion. I mean, when I say superstar, I mean somebody that the NXT color brand could be so proud of in Braun Breaker. You bring over the newly acquired Penta, the greatest luchador of all time, Rey Mysterio Jr. All of these people was in the Royal Rumble, folks. And the winner of that was the one and only Jey Uso. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. And I have to say, in my opinion, this is the most star-studded, and for him to win this Royal Rumble, like he said in his post-presser, he's a top guy too. They were some heavy hitters. Now, we always think about the 92 Royal Rumble that featured Macho Man Randy Savage, that featured Sid Vicious, or Sid Justice at the time, the Immortal Hulk Hogan, which was won by Ric Flair, and it had a number of other guys there, right? Then we think about like the 2001 Royal Rumble that featured Austin, Rock, Kane, Undertaker. You know what I mean? On that card also you had a Triple H and Kurt Angle going at it. And then you even think back to like the 2008 Rumble that had like Randy Orton, a returning John Cena, Edge, Triple H. There were so many Royal Rumbles, but when you look at the way the business is today, and you look at the era, and you look at what was at stake, because we've come off a record-breaking year. Last year, it was Cody Rhodes going back-to-back, the first person to do that since Stone Cold Steve Austin. But that Royal Rumble felt like it was Cody's to win. This was one that we kept saying, this could go either way. We could get Roman Reigns winning and then going back to running back, get the championship that he lost. We could get John Cena trying to go for the record. We could also get CM Punk. He's never main evented WrestleMania. He's never won a Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre's had a chip on his shoulder. He could have won this thing. But nope, it was Jey Uso. Jey Uso did it. He went out there and he proved. We just asked on the Wrestling Realm a few weeks ago, can he be a main eventer? Can Jey Uso main event WrestleMania? Well, we're going to find out. Because what's amazing is this guy is somebody who was a tag team. He was somebody who was, which one are you? That's what you thought about when you heard about Jey Uso, right? That's what you thought about. But then he showed personality. Jimmy was hurt during the Bloodline story. He was the right-hand man. And then after being the right-hand man, that's when we really got to see, you know, him being with Roman and being a pest. I was like, okay, Uso, we're going to go out there, we're going to make some money. And then it got serious. And then they would come together. And then it was finally, he sided with his brother. And he had tribal combat. And then he lost. And then he fought his brother. But all this time, he was making a name for himself to the point he had to leave the family and make more money than he had made before. And now this guy, what we saw in France last year, this guy's the most over guy. Had the whole crowd yeeting. And on Monday Night Raw, the debut on Netflix, you saw people get attached. Now, I looked up and down my timeline. Now, I'm going to stay on the positive side. This is a positive show. I saw a lot of people into this, but what I saw was people who had stopped watching wrestling that's getting back into it are sold on Jey Uso. That should tell you something. Those are your new fans. Those are the ones you want to keep hooked in, because if they complain, they're gone. They're gone again. But the fact that they love Jey Uso shows you something. The way that crowd popped, because it came down to it. It was Jey Uso and John Cena, and I know I'm thinking, Cena's going to win this, and I'm going to be okay with it. But shout out to Jey Uso. Because we all said, okay, Jey will get down to the final four. I think that was like a conclusion. Because of the fact he's so over. But nope. He won the thing, and I am happy for him. And, I was watching this in New York. I went up there, and I went to Legends Bar. And that's where I watched the Women's Royal Rumble at. I'll get into that. But I ended up leaving, and, I was with Queen PR. We ended up doing a post show. You can catch that on Those Wrestling Girls YouTube channel. Shout out to Krista, Justin, and Pablo. But we talked about it. And I just remember our reaction. And then shout out to my brother Cal from Ring of Wrestling Worldwide. Ben, and I, we shared our reactions to some of the surprises of the night. And you'll hear me talk about those this week. But I wanted to talk about the Royal Rumble winners in particularly. Jey Uso, proven he is main event Jey Uso. And I'm so excited for this. And I think it's it just goes to show you too, like wrestling's in a different place. Jey Uso was somebody that we thought, okay, he's going to have a couple main event matches and then he'll be back down to the upper mid card. He was the Intercontinental Champion. All right, sure. He'll be the guy that you call him when you need a big match, but you're not going to put him in the biggest match. Well, he just won the most star-studded Royal Rumble. We said last year's WrestleMania was one of the most important. I said Cody Rhodes' win was the most important win. So now everything after that, how do we follow up? How do we keep this momentum? Like I said earlier this week, this isn't a calm down WrestleMania. This isn't that WrestleMania. It's like, okay, WrestleMania 40 was the big anniversary. We could throw it down a little bit like we did with WrestleMania 21 and WrestleMania 11. Maybe you can even say that about WrestleMania 31, even though it ended up being a better show than we thought it was going to be. No, they are bringing the heat. So if we get Rock, we know it's going to be good. And if we don't, it's still going to be good because there's so many stories to be told. And we'll get into that this week on Wrestling Realm now, and I can't wait for it. But I got to talk about the Women's Royal Rumble. It is by far my favorite of the 8. We saw Charlotte Flair victorious, the Queen return, and she reigned supreme. I had no issue with it. She was my pick. I mean, Charlotte Flair is coming back. Now, this is the fun part because we don't know. One, we don't know who she's going to pick. Rhea kind of made it known, like, yeah, okay, good luck, Tiffy. But this match, you putting her, if it's her and Tiffany Stratton, when them two go at it, it's going to be great because this is going to uplift Tiffany Stratton. So win, lose, or draw, she's been in the ring with Charlotte Flair. That's going to put her on another level. But then also, you look at the women in there, right? First of all, the NXT ladies, I love it. I'm going to start with Lash Legend. Lash Legend just challenged for the Tag Team Championship. She came up short, but what we saw was, she had a great showing when she challenged for the be an inaugural North American champion. But she also has that look, that star power, right? That larger than life presence. So boom, she's there. Now, the other women, Roxanne Perez is pretty much okay. She's coming for the main roster, but we're going to put her in this category just for now. Shout out to her. She set the record. But during the course of the year, prior to her losing the championship to Julia, who was in the Royal Rumble, Stephanie Valkyrie, and Jada Parker. Those are other ladies who challenged Roxanne. So when you look at, and Jordan Grace, we all know Jordan Grace just got signed, whatever. But all these ladies who challenged for that NXT Women's Championship was in this Royal Rumble. That's what I loved. Now, what I also love was the Black Girl Magic moment where we saw Lash Legend, Bianca Belair, Jada Parker, Naomi all kind of congregate. I may be missing one. But then we saw Chelsea Green kind of play the Karen role and get involved. So I thought that was great. I love with Bianca and Naomi, when Naomi and Jordan Grace was having a moment, Bianca's like, and used that to get rid of Jordan Grace. So overall, I thought it was well done. I love the pacing. If there's one complaint, it was the music. A lot of the women need new music, and some of the men too, but a lot of the women need new music because we didn't get to hear some of those songs, those iconic songs. But we did hear that with Nikki Bella. You saw the crowd pop. We heard that with a returning Alexa Bliss, who changed her music before she left. Oh, I forgot about that. But we got to hear that iconic music. Dinner, boom. And of course, my favorite of all time, Trish Stratus. So overall, the women told a great story. I'm excited to see what happens with both of these, the stories that unfold afterwards. That's what I want to see. I want to see where we go from there. But congratulations to Charlotte Flair on winning the Royal Rumble, becoming the first two-time women's Royal Rumble winner. And I said, I didn't think we needed to go there right now, but I said, if it's anybody, it's going to be Charlotte. So congratulations to her. I'm excited. And now we're going to see what's going to happen. I can't wait for Raw this Monday night. So make sure you subscribe. Check out all the shows on the platform. I know this usually comes out after Royal Rumble, but I had to get back to Baltimore first. And before I went to bed on Sunday night, I said, look, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this on wax, and then we can talk about it. But folks, until the next time, I'm Brian H. Waters. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Break It Down with Brian H. So long, everybody.